Hi, I'm Paul Dsouza. I'm a Reiki Master and a hypnotherapist. I have a clinic here in Las Vegas where I see clients for both hypnosis and Reiki. I usually prefer to do hypnosis and Reiki together rather than just doing Reiki by itself. Oh, about myself. Okay, I was born in India. I grew up in India, and I've lived in Las Vegas for about 20 years now. And yeah, I enjoy helping people overcome their their issues, and that's what basically got me into Reiki. And I've had extensive training in hypnosis, other modalities as well, and Reiki, quite a bit of training in Reiki as well. Besides that, I've been running the local Las Vegas meetup for about a year and a half now, which was kind of handed to me, and I've been doing that every Wednesday. Every it goes from 6:30 to 9:30. Oh, it's a place where it's basically a event where people show up. The one that I run is free for the public, for the general public. Anyone who signs up can come in, and sometimes there are other friends who call up and say, "Do you have space? Can I come in?" So I say yes. Uh, so they basically show up. A lot of times people have some issues, they need some healing, so they come in. And my meetup, I what I do is I basically have half of it is a hypnosis session, and the other half is a Reiki session. So everybody who shows up gets to experience a hypnosis session where they experience uh, trance, and they also experience a lot of relaxation and some mild change work. I do a group hypnosis session for the meetup. However, when clients come to my office and they have an issue, if I get their permission to do Reiki, then I do Reiki and hypnosis together, because I found out in my experience that they both work together even better. Like either of them, they work fine on their own, but when you combine them, it's even more powerful for the client to get the change what they're looking for. Well, there is this thing called universal energy. I mean, how would I explain it? Let's say, have you ever noticed a mom or a dad touch a child and have the child calm down? Or a child gets hurt, and then the parent puts their hand on the child and comforts it. So that's essentially a form of energetic exchange that takes place. So we all have that ability. However, with Reiki, there's a set of rituals that we follow, a set of guidelines where you do a certain thing to start a session, and then there's certain things you do to throughout the session to further enhance that process of using universal healing and energy, or you channel that energy. Essentially, I'm not a healer. I just show up and I channel that energy. So I do not take claim. I do not make any claims about any kind of healing that takes place. All I do is I show up, I follow the set of steps, and the one thing I definitely do, which is personal, and I think most Reiki practitioners will do, or a hypnotherapist will do, is keep an intention for the client. Hold that space for the client or the guest who is there, for them to experience that healing or experience that transformation that they're seeking. Yeah. Well, I will not make a claim to that. Uh, However, here's what I can say is if a person is open, I can personally, I don't just offer Reiki to anyone and everyone. The person has to be willing. Uh, Unless the person is in such a state where he is not able to uh, take charge of his own self. Say a person is sick, is unconscious. In that case, I might offer Reiki to that person. But as far as helping everyone, I would say no, um, because there are a lot of different scenarios in place for each and every individual. So chances are one set of tools. Reiki is just another set of tool that I have or a person might have to use with a client. So not every tool is effective with every situation. Yeah. So yes, that's how I actually got started because initially when I learned Reiki, uh, I just learned it because I was curious. I just wanted to learn, understand the stuff. And I was using it on animals and plants. And that's all I did. I didn't really have any intention of, using it on human beings as such. However, it just ended up that eventually that's what I started doing. But the way I started was I was using it on plants and animals. Yeah. Well, you basically have an intention for the plant to heal. That's the first part. Your intention needs to be there. And then you basically invite Reiki to flow through you, and you holding the plant or you touching the plant. So you become a conduit for Reiki to flow and help the plant out in any way it can. And it's not necessary that the plant has to be, uh, uh, how would I say it, like it's in danger or anything of that sort. Yeah. You can still offer Reiki to a plant and help it get even better than what it is. I just hold that intention, that space for that plant. And the way I do it is I just have an intention that Reiki will do what's needed for the plant. And my intention is for the plant to thrive. And that's the same thing I do for any individual that I work with. Well, like I said, I'm a hypnotherapist, and I was looking for, well, in hypnosis, I kind of discovered there's an aspect that I didn't really have a whole lot of understanding about. There was an energetic aspect to hypnosis, and I was noticing a lot of my clients who were coming in that I was definitely able to help them, and hypnosis can work by itself. However, I needed something for that energetic part, which I didn't really have an answer to, and Reiki kind of just fell in that place. And even then, I was never ever thinking about using Reiki professionally. What happened was my mentor, she was moving out of town. I think you probably are aware of her, Victoria Stitzer. She was moving out of town, and she needed somebody to run her meetup group, which she had been running for several years, and she had put in a lot of effort. And I didn't want that meetup group to just go away, and nobody else wanted to do it. So when she asked me, I said yes. And so it's now a year and a half that I've been running that, and that's also given me people who actually want to do sessions. So when they realize that I'm also a hypnotist, so I kind of add and blend both those things together, and that's how I use it. Yeah, and that's what got me started in Reiki. Well, for my Reiki session, I will be working with Karen, and If she has a specific issue that she wants to work on, what I will do is I'll find out if it's a physical issue or if it's an emotional issue. If there's something I can help her out with, a hypnosis based intervention, I will add that along with Reiki. So that's how I run my session. However, the process itself involves, before the client shows up, I ensure that the room is made safe for both of us. So there's a process where you grid the room up with Reiki symbols and Reiki energy, and then when the client comes in, you can basically start. Beyond that, you also need to get your approval from the person that you're working with if they are okay for you to work with. The second thing is normally a Reiki practitioner or Reiki Master would get the permission for touch. However, I never touch the client. I do hands-off Reiki, so I don't really need to get that permission. All I need to do is get their approval for, is it okay if I can channel Reiki for them? If they say yes, then yeah. Well, it depends on what the client wants. If it's strictly a Reiki session, it can go anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour or even 90 minutes, yeah. However, personally, for me, when I run a session, like I said, I combine hypnosis and Reiki together. So I do an hour of hypnosis and then 30 minutes of Reiki, as and when needed. Or it could even be 15 minutes of Reiki and then an hour, 15 minutes of hypnosis. So I combine those together. Well, because I'm a hypnotherapist, I have training from my mentors who have always told me, don't put your limitations on what something can or cannot do. So whatever is convenient. Let's say if a person cannot lay or be comfortable on a massage table, I would be perfectly fine with them sitting on a chair and doing Reiki. So I don't want to bring in any kind of personal limitations on the client or as far as what Reiki can or cannot do. So my job is to hold the intention for the client, hold the space, and also complete the set of protocols or set of steps that I have in place based on what the client needs. So it doesn't matter whether the person is seated, it doesn't matter whether the person is on a massage table. I'm perfectly fine with either. Okay, at this point, what I've done is I've already put the grid in the room, and I've found out what my client here needs for this session. And the way I go about it is I scan my client, and the way I scan it is I pass my hands around the client, and wherever I feel a change in any kind of sensation, sometimes it might be heat, sometimes it might be a feeling of I'll feel like a spiky feeling in my hands, and when that happens, I make a mental note, because then I'm going to go back to that space again, and then I go about scanning the entire body. So if I sense something right around here, however, I'm not going to work on it right now, so I'm going to go further down, something around here. For me, that's in my mind right now. And then something right around here. So I've got that spot right there, that one, and that one that I've made a mental note, yeah? So now this one right here, I feel it feels heavy to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna invite Reiki to flow through there. And then I usually go with symbols. I start pumping the symbols in. And sometimes I don't go directly on that spot. What I would do is I would go kind of sideways into that spot. So if, let's say if the problem area is right here, I don't go directly into that space. I go kind of from the side in, and my intention is to pull that out, and then mentally what I'm doing is I'm also drawing that out, and there's a process where you chuck it into a green fire, so it gets dissolved. And then I check for the sensation again. And then there are times when I may not feel anything and I feel like I've hit a dead end. And that's when what I do is I invite the spirit guides or the guardian angels or whatever the person might have in their belief system. Sometimes I've had clients tell me that they don't believe in spirit guides. They rather believe in ancestors, So I call for the ancestors to come and help. And when that happens, I basically it's a process where I give up and I let whatever is flowing through me to take over. And a few seconds later, I know I begin to feel that connection again. So if I hit a dead end, I basically invite help. And every time I've done that, help shows up somehow. And that's why I never claim any part in the healing. All I claim is me being there, taking my time and doing the process that needs to be done. So right now this area has cleared out, and now as I go around, I knew there was something here, so I feel that again. I feel it right here on my palm. So I'm gonna work at it. Again, this time I'm gonna draw it out. And then this time I'm gonna just do the symbols on the side. And for me, there are times when I have to move my hand back and forth because there are times when I may not feel anything down right here, but however, if I go a little bit further up, I might feel something different. So I kind of have to do that sometimes, and to get a better understanding of what is going on around here. And I never know what might be wrong or what needs to be healed. However, my intention, the one that I ask or hold, is for that to clear out and for that space to return back to optimal health, to the best it can be. Yeah. And then there are times when you work on one area, another area might flare up, something else changes somewhere else, and then you find out, okay, there's another thing that just popped up. So it's like peeling an onion, you find something else as you go deeper in, yeah? So then you work on that. And then the last area that I had felt earlier was right here. And once everything is done, there's a process of closing. There's a process where I close. There's a ritual for that as well. There's a set of steps you follow. And then once that is done, always remember, every person that you work with, you have to disconnect and you have to completely cut the cords off. Especially if you're working in a group, when you move from one person to another, you have to do that process all over with each and every single person that you work with. That is very essential, because you don't want to carry one person's energy to another person that you're working with. And above all, remember to thank all the spirit guides, the angels, all the higher energies or the beings that show up, Reiki Masters, ascended Reiki Masters that come in. So you thank them for having helped in the process of healing. And usually you get feedback from the client when they get off the table. So we worked with I worked with Daniela about her smoking and vaping habit. The smoking habit changed to vaping later on, and what we discovered, me and Daniela, in the process was it was connected to a time in the past where a family member of hers who passed away from smoking. Someone she dearly loved and cared for, and when she was very little, very young. So we worked on that and we released the emotions around it. And it's still a process, because it's going to take a little time, couple of days, for the entire thing to transition into something else. And for the moment, that's the work we've done. And the feeling that she had that she needed to vape has changed into that she doesn't need it anymore. So we're gonna find out. I'm gonna keep track of what's going on, and we'll figure out what happened with that process, and we'll update it later on. When we catch up with Daniela, we'll find out how it's helping her. Okay. Is there anything you would like to share about the process, Daniela?
No.
Okay. Did you ever think that maybe that habit was connected to something that happened at 12 years old? Maybe. Okay.
But the person died from cancer in the lungs.
Yeah.
From smoking.
Yeah. Okay. However, how do you feel about your vaping habit now? Is it something that you overcome?
Not really good about it. It smells.
Yeah. Okay. Did that used to feel like that before, or is it different now?
No, I like it, the smell. I used to like the smell.
But now you don't? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because I see your face kind of crunching up.
Yeah, and my throat makes my throat burn.
Okay. Alright, so is it something that you're willing to give up now?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember to use those colors as well, okay?
Yes.
Throughout, for the next few days, maybe 3 to 6 days, as long as it's needed, remember. I'll remind you as well, okay? So are you good for now? Yeah. And we can work on this one if anything comes up, okay?